Hello and welcome to another edition of Hot Mics. This is your girl, Sexy. Blaze is actually out on tour right now, so I'm going to be doing this commentary alone. And what this is about, basically, back in October of 2013, there were two teenagers that were shoplifting at a Victoria's Secret store in New York. Apparently, the security guards found these girls, stopped them on the way out of the store, and as they held them in the back, they said they smelled something really bad. Checked one of the girls' bags and found out she had a fetus in the bag. Well, apparently, young woman had given birth the day before and had the baby with her while they were out shoplifting. Well, wow, that's amazing in and of itself, but just this afternoon, they finally ruled that death as a homicide. They ruled it as a homicide. The child, they didn't identify, but they said the child died as a result of homicidal asphyxia. So basically, the baby was smothered to death. They added that the baby, it was a boy, he was alive for less than a day. And this young woman, her name is Tiona Rodriguez, and she also has a 2-year-old son at home. Okay, so now that they have ruled this a homicide, I'm wondering how this is going to affect public opinion. Here, check out this news clip.
Major update on breaking news that unfolded yesterday afternoon. Police now say the baby, whose body was found and in the bag of a Brooklyn teenager caught shoplifting, was born alive. The baby was then asphyxiated. The NYPD has not released information about how this was determined. What we do know is that the medical examiner's office says the initial autopsy could not determine the cause of death. Mother has been identified as 17-year-old Tiona Rodriguez. In this video, you can see her being wheeled out of the Victoria's Secret store in Herald Square, where the fetus was found. Detectives say a security guard who was on the lookout for shoplifters at the store spotted two teenagers who they say were acting suspicious. The guard searched one of the girls' bags and found the dead baby inside. Officers say she told them she had the dead male fetus because she delivered the baby the day before and didn't know what to do. Both girls have been arrested on charges of petty larceny and possession of stolen property. We are waiting to hear if those charges will be upgraded. Neighbors described the teen as a sweet girl and a good mother to her other child.
I mean, she didn't know. I figured she didn't know what she was doing. I mean, it was a shock to have your baby, find your baby dead like that, you know? And I guess she didn't know what to do with the baby.
The teen, who's believed to have given birth, was hospitalized right after the gruesome discovery was made. The other teen was questioned by police.
At first, it was pretty mixed. Back in 2013, some of the comments, people were saying she was crazy, she had to be. Then on the other side of the fence, you had people that were feeling sorry for her and felt like, here's a teen. She probably didn't know what to do. But I don't know. In my opinion, I'm really not buying that. I'm imagining that she already had this first child at 14, 15 or so. That baby's 2. She's living at home. So she has some support there. So I'm believing that if I had to err on the side of what makes more sense, I would believe that perhaps she just didn't realized she was pregnant. There was a Facebook post that she had put up just the night before that said, "These cramps, son of a bitch," pretty much. So, sounds like she was, having some cramping and things then. So, I would err that she didn't literally murder the baby. She just didn't know what to do with the baby being born. And, possibly early and not in a hospital. So, and I don't know. To tell you a little bit more about the story, they had been investigating this or probing this case since October when it happened, and she wasn't initially charged. She was 17 years old at the time. She was released without bail after she pleaded not guilty to the petty larceny and the possession of stolen property. And at that time, they couldn't bring charges because the forensic tests had not been done, and the preliminary reports had suggested that the fetus was born alive and may have been asphyxiated, but they had to find out. So they only arraigned the shoplifts. As far as the friend that she was caught with, her name was Frances Estevez. She was also released without bail. But they're saying what they did was they spent about 2 hours going through Estevez's family apartment because apparently Tiona had the baby at her house before they went shopping. So I don't know. That's a little weird to have that happen. I just don't understand why the child wouldn't have wrapped the baby up and gotten rid of it, I don't know, dumpster, or, maybe even just talk to her mom and said, Mom, look, I didn't know I was pregnant, and what do I do? I can't imagine, I would hope that she didn't just strangle or smother that baby in fear, especially when, she has this other beautiful 2-year-old at home. So just wanted to put that out. Of course, as usual, you are welcome to comment. We'd love to hear your comments. Everybody was very shocked to find out that she was pregnant. A lot of the neighbors said, they've known her since she was little. She was probably nervous and didn't know what to do. She would never hurt anyone. That's a quote from Zami Ford. I guess that's a friend. Other people said she was a good girl and couldn't believe she would do something like that. And one of her neighbors, Lydia Perez, said she had to have hidden that pregnancy for a while. She said, I saw her outside here the other day with her family and her baby. There was a whole bunch of joy. You would never know there were any problems. Now, the customers at Victoria's Secret, of course, were shocked to hear that a dead infant was found inside the store. But most of them did sympathize with her, being as though she was a high school girl. So, weigh in. How do you feel? What do you think about this subject? Another commentary, another life loss. Feel very sorry for the baby, of course, because there are a lot of people that can't have babies. We know that. But what would you do if this were your daughter?